To 100% Dinkum, I'll need to conquer the terrifying plains of Australia's outback, make millions creating my farming empire, build a sprawling town fit with friendly locals, fight off evil kangaroos, carefully strip resources from the depths of the volcano, catch every single fish, bug, and critter out there, build some sick vehicles, and hardest of all, try not to offend an entire continent with my horrible Australian accent. Bonza! I 100%ed Dinkum. And this video is actually sponsored by Dinkum and the team behind the game, Crafted. They wanted me to tell you that the 1.0 update is officially out now, and you can purchase the game by clicking the link down in the description. And if you want some extra content, you can even join their Discord server. But now, on to my Dinkum journey. In order to survive the harsh badlands of the outback, I figured I'd need to create the most rough, tough, chiseled personality I could think of. But this is a farming simulator after all, so this was the best I could come up with. What's her name? Spike Jones. That's a freaking awesome sounding name. What's the island's name? What's an Australian thing? Sipping on a fishing pole. I don't know anything about Australia, but I refuse to apologize for my accent. Think you wicked. I think that might be a British thing. I'm gonna keep it. It's then that we're carried away from the depressing gray of South City and into the beautiful plains of the outback. And luckily, we're not here alone. We've been accompanied by this granny named Fletch. I'm so glad you've decided to accompany me on this journey, Spike Jones. Wait. I just realized. I tried to say like a bad sounding name. Spike Jones is a real person. She gives me a base tent and tells me to go find somewhere to set up my tent, and oh god. If you're anything like me, being given the choice of where to set up your base is the most anxiety-inducing situation possible. What if I set up too far away from everything I need to do? What if I set up right by a hostile mob farm? What if they pave paradise and put up a parking? So to avoid all that, I decide to explore around the island a bit first. Can I swim? Whoa, cool. You can always tell when someone was a Nintendo fan growing up because they get excited by otherwise basic features, like swimming, jumping, or the game costing less than a plane ticket. While searching, I find some bananas as well as some less appetizing friends. What the heck? Freaking dinosaurs! The music's getting intense. Those are like tall birds, I guess. Okay, definitely don't want to set up here. These things look annoying. Unless they're not following me and I'm just a complete moron. Nope, they are. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. After roaming around for a while, I realize that I both have no idea what's important or what it is I'm doing. So I decide to just set up in the middle of the island. Might not be the most optimal spot, but it gives me easy access to any biome I might need to head to. I place down the base tent, which is going to serve as our town hall for the game. And then the old bag hands me a tent to set up my house, which I definitely didn't think I had just done, and now I have to rethink my entire plan. I choose to set it up just a couple paces up north in this mostly flat area. Found a good place for your tent. I know it's not much, but I hope you like a new home. I'll tell you what, you got that spark, Spike Jones. Have you ever heard of the traveling trader, John? No. Dude, I just got here. How would I have known of such a thing? Tell you what, he's a bloomin' legend. Trading's in his very blood. Feels racially charged somehow. So I reckon to get the visiting site deed ready for him. That way we'll have a place ready for any visitors who come to Stinky Wicket. I place the visiting site deed right outside our base tent, and Granny hands me her deceased father's only heirloom, his journal. Which, yeah, just why don't you go ahead and give that to the man you literally just met. She then tells us to craft a campfire, which we can do with some gum logs and rocks that I picked up while exploring. She also gives me a bug net, and then the world's my oyster. I place down my new campfire outside my tent and try to cook up some of the new food I got out there. How do I cook? Oh my god, I set myself on fire. Oh crud. Oh my god, I'm gonna die on the first day. Get in the water! Come on, Spike. Oh, thank God. Okay. Eventually, I figure out how to cook my bananas, and honestly, if this is the kind of high cuisine they're eating down under, it's no wonder my only Australian friend Floydson seems to spend 90% of his time pumping out more children. With all that set up, though, it was time to put my net to good use and go and catch some bugs. I want to catch a bug. A wanky bugger. Ah, bug. I caught a cicada. Nice. I also managed to catch a scarlet Jezebel butterfly and a blue moon butterfly. I continue exploring and find some more fruit trees like apples, bottlebrush, cactus fruit, limes, and some that I've never even heard of. Oh, that doesn't look like a lime. It looks like a blueberry. No, it's a quandong? They just be making stuff up in Australia. Oh, gotta have some quandong. I head to bed for the night and see that I've leveled up my foraging. Upon waking up, the shopkeeper John arrives as our very first island visitor. Ah, so you must be Spike Jones. Fletch told me you're the one to thank for getting this place all set up. I am. John explains that he'll buy just about anything we find on the island and then sells it for a higher price back in South City. I sell him some seashells I found on the beach yesterday, as well as any duplicate bugs I happen to find. All up, I can get a few 368, that's fine. Our next quest from Fletch is to earn enough dinks to be able to buy a table saw, which Granny graciously puts up half the money for. So just go on ahead and add stealing from the elderly to my list of crimes. In need of a way to generate 2,500 dinks, I test out the sell price of all the different fruit and forage I picked up yesterday, with the highest by far being the yellow wattle flower. So I sell my whole stack for a juicy 5,000 dinks and pick up the table saw. This will allow me to saw down logs into the refined version planks. For now though, Fletch wants me to craft a furnace, and to get the materials for that, I'll need to buy buy my first license. Basically, to do just about anything in the Outback, you need to first buy a license. Cutting down trees, mining rocks, farming, breeding animals. Jesus! I'm the only one on this island. You need licenses to do everything here? I thought Australia was supposed to be this lawless country where you gotta shoot a tarantula dead before breakfast. Irregardless, I purchased the mining license, which will now allow me to buy the pickaxe from John's shop. I also pick up the farming license, but when I go to buy more, I realize that these aren't purchased with Dinks, but they're instead purchased with a different premium currency called permit points. These are listed in Granny's dead dad's journal. That was a really long way of saying they're Nook miles. I tried pickaxing rocks for tin ore, but ran out of energy very quickly. Perplexed, I tried eating a banana, but that didn't seem to fill up my energy ball at all. Yeah, the energy system in this game is not like other farming simulators I'm used to. It's more akin to something like a stamina bar. Every time you perform an action, your energy bar depletes, but while you're not doing anything, the stamina bar will regen. However, this bar regens insanely slowly. That is, unless you eat something, which can boost the rate the stamina bar fills. However, you can only feel the effects of 3 pieces of food at a time. This energy system took some time to get the hang of, but I think I like it. It's not as like min-maxy as games I'm used to like Stardew or Don't Starve, but allows you to do a lot more early on. You just need to be prepared and patient. I use some bananas to mine up rocks, but realize I'll need more wood for the furnace, so I buy myself the logging license and chop down some trees. Eventually, I get everything I need, craft myself the furnace, and can now process every 5 pieces of ore into sweet tin bars. Bringing that tin bar to Fletch, she tasked me with my next big obstacle, permanently moving John the shopkeep into town. Which I'm not entirely sure I want that, as he looks like the type of guy that gets really upset you won't join his Final Fantasy 15 roleplay server. In order to get a visitor to become a permanent resident of Stinky Wicket, you need to befriend them. The main way to do this is by completing the daily quest that they offer you. Today, John asked me to pick up a blue moon butterfly, which thankfully is the most common bug in the game, so I can easily fulfill his request. 12K for a butterfly? You're crazy, man. Not only that, but I earned myself a quarter heart with John as well. I build myself a crafting table and catch the funnel web spider I see roaming on the ground. Since I can't make any more progress with John for the day, I can't make any more main game progress, so I decided to knock out my daily milestone quests for the day, as these will give me free easy permit points. I quickly knock those out and make sure to collect any additional fruit that I find while I'm out. I end off the day catching my 5th type of bug, the firefly, which gives me a permit point milestone as well as catching a cockroach. And for all my hard work that day, I earned myself level 1 bug catching, level 2 mining, and level 4 foraging. To this day, I have no idea what levels do in this game, but I love when bar get big and number go up. It's day 3, and luckily for me, John is visiting again. This time, he wants me to bring him something to eat. Here you go. Yep, have this apple. Oh no, I don't really eat stuff like this. What? What? Screw you. I do as any good min-maxer would do and immediately reset the day. This time I got a cooked apple for him. Yes, the cooked apple. Surely that will work. What? You still don't? What a turd. What a turd you are. I realized that there's no winning with this guy, so I reset again, and this time just talk to him. And this somehow actually works. I spoke to Fletch and I applied for a deed so I could set up a permanent store here in town. Oh, that was easy. Just goes to show you that sometimes all you need to do is talk to someone. Which, funnily enough, is also what my girlfriend tells me when she looks through my Reddit subscriptions. I head over to Fletch, who will let me see the deed to place down the shop. Oh my god, town debt increase. Town has debt. Thankfully, I don't need to pay the money up front or even before I want the building built, just as long as I pay it off before commissioning my next building. I slap that shop down and then see I'll need 2 different plank types, as well as a few tin sheets and nails. There are 2 types of wood I'll need. The standard gum wood that you'll see pretty much everywhere, and the palm wood that you can only really find on the northern and southern tips. Though my main issue right now is actually my inventory. Every single unique bug I've caught so far, I've been holding on to, as I know it's only a matter of time until the museum is introduced. So that's like half of my inventory clogged. Luckily, I can use my tin bar to craft some nails, which I can then craft into a wooden crate, giving me some storage options, though for some reason you can't store the critters in the crate. I placed the 3 I made outside my tent though, and create a loose organization system that is sure to be undone in just a couple hours. Tin bars can also be sliced down into tin sheets on the woodcutter, giving me the final ingredient I need to finish out John's store. With that completed, I craft a ton of campfires because I want to start cooking all the various fruits that I picked up, as I realized that cooking them increases their sell value. I spend the rest of the night cooking and get my start on day 4. I realized I forgot to put the materials for the shop in the bin, so I make completing that my new mission of the day. I go to visit John, who's in the visitor site again, and his daily quest is to buy 5 tin ore off me for just a few hundred dinks. A trade that is actually awful, but similar to my real life, I'm just absolutely desperate for friendship, so I go through with it. I buy myself an axe and then grab the excavation license from Granny. This now allows me to purchase and use the shovel from John, which can be used to pick up and place dirt. I also pick up the license for fishing as well as hunting, giving me some weapons to defend myself. I plant down all the tree seeds, burning a hole in my pocket with my fancy new shovel. I also realize that if I cut down cactus bushes with an axe, I'll be given 2 prickly pears. These can then be planted into the ground, where each one one will grow its own separate cactus, multiplying the amount of cactuses across your precious map. While searching around the map, I see that a kangaroo has already started weakening a dingo for me, so I decide to rush in with my pickaxe and finish the job. Uh-oh, that was a mistake. Okay, that was a mistake, and that was definitely a mistake. Okay, leave me alone. There's a crook! The dingo could swim, holy crap! Oh my god, I was so screwed there for a second. What the heck? It followed me all the way over here. Oh my god, it's getting the whole gang of dingoes on me. Oh my god. Holy crap. Please. There's a gang of dingoes. I finish out a request for Fletch, and she gives me a green puffy jacket, which means I can finally shed this disgusting blue and yellow shirt I had been wearing. Seriously, it looked like I was dressed by a middle schooler before. I finally gather up the remaining materials needed for John's store, which means that construction can begin tomorrow. I spend the rest of the night cooking down cacti for the prickly pears, as well as the 2 cactus fruits that they drop. I then cook this, hoping I can sell it back to John, and start whittling away at the town debt. Finally, I end off my day by planting all those prickly pears and starting my very own cactus farm. On day 5, construction has started on John's shop, but it looks like it won't be finished for a few more days. Luckily though, John is in the visitor site once again, so I can sell him all the absolutely disgusting cooked fruit I made last night. This gives me about $20,000 of spending money rattling around in my pocket. I like this fruit selling method, and right now it seems like the only real and viable way to make dinks, so I head to the north and pick up as many bananas as I can. Not only can I later plant these bananas, but their cooked counterparts are a great source of energy. The north side also has a ton of these little ore rocks containing tin and also the rare resource copper. Though it's not all easy up here in the north. Oh god, oh, it's ramming me. Oh my god, let me be. I head home and plant all my precious bananas, hoping that they'll soon bear delicious profits onto me, as in total I've got 40 banana trees planted. Also at sunset, the strangest thing happens. What the heck? I craft some more furnaces to up production past the single one that I was using earlier, and start smelting the nearly 45 tin ore I found today. It's day 6, and it looks like John's goods has finally been built, and it's everything I could have ever hoped for. 5 bananas. Oh, that's a banana. Squishy. Perfect. At the store, I realized that seashells are not the best-selling item, while prickly pear flesh actually sells for tons. And so I embark on my journey to gather up tons of cactus flesh. And I mean a lot of cactus flesh, like, oh my god, that's so much cactus flesh. While on my flesh journey, I also grabbed tons of other fruit types along the way, because, well, I'm not really sure many of the other ways to make money in the Dinkum world. While most fruits can just be planted into the ground to start growing a tree, the 2 flower bushes are a special case in that you need to cut down their original bush with an axe, that way you can get the seed for the bush. Yellow wattle flower is definitely the dominant of the 2, so I end up gathering tons of those. Nightfall comes, and I finish up John's daily request by handing him some palmwood planks. Give me a sailor dress. Thank you, I guess. I can't give in to the fans like this. With that, I head to bed for the night. I hit level 10 foraging, which I foolishly thought was the max. Oh, how wrong I was. Now that John has permanently moved onto our island, it's opened up the visitor site for a completely new traveler today, and he's just in time as I sell off the prickly pears and wattle flowers I collected yesterday, giving me enough cash to pay off the town's current debt. Who's the visitor today? Theodore. Oh, this must be the museum guy. There's so many amazing creatures and plants on this island. I think it might be... Oh, I forgot he's supposed to be Australian. I think it might be worth documenting them all, correct? What if we build a museum here? Somewhere we could all gather all the amazing things for everyone to see. I have no idea if this guy's supposed to be like a nerdy looking adult or like an actual 12-year-old, but either way, we can now build a museum. Not sure why he didn't put up a fight like John, but I'm not complaining. To build the museum, we'll need planks and nails, as well as a new resource cement. Luckily, I can buy the machine that makes it, the stone crusher, at John's shop. As you may have guessed, the stone crusher, well, crushes stone. 1 stone translates to 1 bag of cement, so I can knock off the requirements pretty easily and start construction on the museum. I also got my 2nd level of logging license today, which means I can now craft a copper axe using a basic axe and 2 copper bars. It even has the added bonus of restoring the durability of the tool. In order to make space for the area I want to be my tree orchard, I used the shovel to flatten out the land to the right of my tent. Now, this takes a long time, like basically the whole day. And Dinkum days are not no like short Stardew days. Each Dinkum day comes in at a staggering 31 minutes at minimum. After manually placing all the dirt away from my base, I can start planting my bush lime trees and my yellow wattle bushes. I set up rows for my apple and quandong trees, but I haven't collected nearly enough of them yet, so they'll have to wait. On day 8, I buy myself mining license level 2, allowing me to craft the copper pickaxe and break some of the huge boulder deposits sitting around the map. Today, just more of the same though, as I frolic through the map looking for more forage to bring back to the base. I do manage to pick up a fly in the desert though. Man, Theodore has got to get here quick, because my pockets are just stuffed with live bugs fluttering around and taking up space. I head back and plant down all my fancy new seeds, but it's then that one of the biggest issues you'll have in Dinkum rears its head: tool durability. You see, all tools in this game have durability. Only a certain number of uses and poof, gone. And that is totally and completely fine. The problem is that you are completely unable to craft any tools. You see, while you can craft advanced versions of like copper axes or iron picks, the recipe will always require a base of that tool to start off, and that tool can only be purchased at John's Goods. That means if you need a new tool once John is already closed down for the day, oops, too bad. In addition to that, you can only buy a single tool every day. Why? I have no clue. Yeah, if you can't tell already, I'm a little mixed on how I feel about this mechanic. On one hand, I like that it makes you plan ahead and continually buy common tools like pickaxes and shovels. On the other hand, this can be pretty frustrating if you're in the middle of a project and have no way to continue, which is exactly what happens to me here. The next morning, I wake up and start cooking every extra line that I didn't end up planting, as well as my insane amount of cactus fruits. I sell my 62 cacti flesh, as well as over 100 cacti fruit, and a bunch of other various forage to John for a whopping 100,000 dinks. And that's not the only good news this morning, as Theodore is officially moved in now, so I can finally dispense of all those bugs I had been carrying around this whole time. I donate my 9 bugs to the museum, to which Theodore actually rewards me with 900 permit points. A hugely welcome surprise compared to Blathers, who has only ever given me a dent in my thumb for endlessly spamming my 3DS's A button. And we've got even more good news, as Rain the local botanist is visiting us today. She is, of course, the game's farming expert. And look, I don't know much about the meta of this game, but it's a farming game, so I surmise that farming's gonna be decently important. As such, I purchased the hoe, the watering can, and then I'm faced with a choice. There are 2 seeds for sale here right now: onions and rice. I have no clue which is better, but one look at their info is all I need, as Rain tells me that rice can grow in all seasons. Now, as a former Stardew Valley pro, I can immediately recognize that that means this crop sucks, and you need to know that. And so I put every last dollar of my shiny new 100,000 into onion seeds. While I'm finishing out my rounds, Fletch tells me that once we can get 5 permanent residents to move to Stinky Wicket, our town will be recognized as an official settlement, which would be perfect for me as I know lots about settlements, and legally, you're not allowed to ask me why. Granny also tells me that I can start building a bandstand if I'd like, which I'm not even gonna look into because it sounds like the lamest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I also spend some permit points to grab the brewing license, which will now allow me to start crafting billet cans. Bonza! I have now officially angered, wait, only 3% of my audience? I should be making way more Australian jokes. The keg recipe? Oh, crud. There's kegs in this? Oh god, it's so over. But now it was time to get farming. And without any access to a way to terraform the area around my base quickly, I'm just gonna have to go in the shape of this little crevasse. Not the prettiest setup, but hey, you gotta make do. I also have no idea how long this hoe is gonna last, so I make sure to be planting seeds as I go, so that I don't like under hoe or overwater or who knows what. I'm running out of energy pretty quickly, so I check the cooking table to see if there are any easy to cook recipes that could help me with my energy. And it's then that I discover perhaps the best cooking item in the entire game. Something that not only gives you tons of energy, but is insanely easy to make: the fruit salad. No joke, I am not sure I would be able to finish this run without the fruit salad. I mean, it easily would have been an extra 10 hours. Fruit salad is simple: 2 bananas, 2 quandongs, 2 apples, and 2 limes. It lasts for 10 whole real-world minutes, gives solid energy and health, as well as a defense buff. Fruit salad, yummy yummy, am I right, guys? But seriously, this wiggle killed a guy. I hit an insane stroke of luck, as midway through the day it actually starts raining, saving me the trouble of watering all my onions. I'm able to get around 150 of my onions before my hoe breaks, but hey, that's all but 30, which is pretty good. Once that's done, I go to fulfill my friendship requests. I do these pretty much every day, and most days the NPC just asks me for something incredibly simple, like a banana or a palmwood plank, so I'm not gonna really mention these. Finally, since it's raining, I figure I better spend some time finally trying out fishing. The way fishing works here is that you actually need to find the fish in the water, and then get them to bite onto your bobber. And then, I have no idea what we're supposed to do. In fact, I mess up the fishing here many times. Like, I see that the bobber is going underwater, but then when I click, I just, like, don't get what the fish is, what is going on? And then once I finally do get a fish on the line, he just immediately breaks it. So I head home, no fish in hand. And for the first time, I realized that I had stayed out past the day's end at midnight. But turns out that the day doesn't actually end, nor do you, like, pass out once it's over. Instead, at midnight, time turns to late. Late lasts for as long as you want it to, prevailing until you decide to sleep. The only catch is that your energy bar has been shortened to the point that you basically can't use it at all. It's great for finding time to cook or organize chests or anything else that doesn't require energy. I absolutely love this system, and it feels like a great middle ground between the more hardcore playstyle of traditional survival games and a non-existent time system where nothing matters. I start off day 10 by watering my onions. Then, after finishing my morning NPC rounds, I plant the rest of the apples I had gathered up. Besides that, though, this day is mostly more of the same, just collecting cactus flesh for profits and ore for smelting. That night, I do add a new bug to the Critterpedia, the black cricket, and then head to bed. On day 11 though, we do have a new visitor, Franklin. Franklin is a scientist who will craft us highly valuable machines and vehicles if we bring in the materials. But in order to unlock the recipes, we need to first find shiny discs hidden around the island for him to extract information from. And if you're wondering why I'm explaining this all to you in post-commentary VO instead of just reading through Franklin's dialogue, it's because I gave Franklin an absolutely insufferable to listen to voice.
I'll pay you very generously for each shiny disc you deliver me. Oh, that's the repair kit. Use it to repair all your damaged tools at a repair table.
That'll be $30,000. Is it infinite use? The repair kit is not in fact infinite use, instead just a huge ripoff. Seems to be a common theme amongst the sticky wicked shopkeepers. I spend the morning chopping trees, as we're gonna need tons of wood soon. Due to the limited availability of tools, it's important to completely whittle down the durability on the axe and then upgrade it to the copper version for a full repair. While I'm chopping down my tree farm, I'm also processing all of the tin ore I picked up yesterday. This is all so that I can craft tons of billy can kits, as I figure refining all the various fruits, forage, and eventually crops we collected will make them infinitely more valuable.
Alright, I made a hammer. Now I can tell you to get the freak out of here, stupid porcupine. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this is terrible. Oh my god. And I'm on fire. Yeah, this thing is awful. Oh my god. All that for one piece of meat.
Yeah, the hammer's just so awful that I opt to instead use the basic spear to defend myself. I go to process some limes in the billy can kits, but learn that you'll need a whopping 10 of them in order to process them into jam, so that'll have to wait for later. After grabbing some more ore and forage, I decide to try putting some new hunting spear to use and take out one of those terrifying dinosaurs.
Oh! I'm kinda goated! What the heck? I'm kinda nasty! What the heck? Yeah, you better run. But you can't hide! Oh. Yeah, I got him! That only got me 2 drumsticks? Oh.
No better way to make me feel like the bad guy than to give me an absolutely abysmal reward for killing a creature just trying to protect its child.
I mean, like, if I at least got a cool hat or something, I would feel a little bit more justified, but...
Before finishing out the day, I make sure to complete a request from Franklin to coax him into moving in and then hit the sack. On day 12, it's raining again, so no onion watering for me. I head to Fletch's and I order myself the deep mine license, which will allow me to set up the mines. But before I can do that, I need to pay off the town's debt from the museum. Throw some yellow wattle flowers into the billy can kits and then revamp my organization system. I originally just wanted to place down some more wooden crates, but I realized that it would look absolutely awful this way, so I decided to redo my entire base layout. I pick up the campfires and move the wooden crates to their former spot, and then spend the rest of the day organizing the crates in a way so insane that explaining it to you would sound more like when your cousin's in the pool explaining her mermaid powers. On day 13, my wattle flowers had brewed into a tea, and my 20 bananas into a beautiful banana jam. These are actually incredibly valuable, as just selling these 2 jams sell for a whopping 12,000 dinks. Rain's back today, but unfortunately she's only selling a trellis crop, as well as a crop that can grow all year round. 2 things I wouldn't want to touch with a 6-foot pole. I do pick myself up a hoe though, which lets me plant the remaining onion seeds that I have. After watering all my crops, I make sure to complete my rain friendship request, and look around for more forage and fruit to stuff into the billy can kits. And feeling confident after my victory against the evil emus, I decided to try my hand at taking down one of these devils I've been seeing all around the map.
Let's go, we gotcha! Get him! Oh! And hit him! Oh, get this, devil! Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh, I ran out of energy. Oh my god, okay, alright. You know what, actually you're chill. Actually, it's just chill if you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep it up, bud.
On day 14, I've got tons of wattle flowers that I can process into tea, and the 11 I made sell for a solid 28,000 dinks. Not bad at all. I'm so close to being able to pay off the town debt, but I am just barely behind, so I have to spend a bunch of time cooking some cactus figs to put me over. Unfortunately though, once I sell all that to pay off the debt, it's past 5, which means that Fletch is done for the day, meaning I can't start on my next building process. Don't know why Fletch needs to take the night off when all she does is sit and wait inside the tent for me to come and talk to her, but I guess I gotta respect my elders. On day 15, my first batch of onions is ready. I can harvest them with the scythe, which is incredibly convenient, and each onion seed grew into 3 onions, giving me a grand total of 429 onions. Franklin's back in town today, so I make sure to take on his friendship request.
Oh, it's Sunday. Dang it. I can't sell all my onions. My precious onions. Dang it.
With the town debt finally paid, I can start on towards the town's next project, and I opt for the deep mine. I can place this one wherever I want, so I decide to put it away from the rest of the town, and instead right next to my house to make for the most optimal mines days possible. Most of the materials required for the mines are pretty easy to grab: copper and tin bars, cement bags, as well as some old gears and old keys, which I've been able to pick up from some rusted barrels around the map. There is one exception though, the old contraption, a material I've yet to come across. But there's a pretty easy solution to this: the metal detecting license. The metal detecting license, as the name would imply, allows you to start using the metal detector. Using it, you can follow follow some signals across the ground, which will eventually lead you to buried treasure. The treasure can then be unearthed with your shovel, which will either spawn some relics or barrels that contain relics. Relics are items that are crucial to gather for some of the game's more advanced crafting recipes, particularly the ones made in Franklin's lab, buildings, and some of the endgame tools. They're incredibly important to gather, and metal detecting is pretty much the only way to consistently get them. However, actually metal detecting is a pretty long and arduous process, so thankfully there's a much quicker way to find these relics. If you purchase the metal detecting license level 2, you can find these little X marks on the ground. These won't point out all of the buried treasure in the area, but they will do some, and just sprinting around looking for the X's is way faster than actually using the painstakingly slow metal detector. I do manage to get a single old contraption today, which means we can start the process of building the mines. With John open today, I can sell off my stash of onions, which go for a whopping $200,000. Yeah, as I would quickly learn in this game, farming is absolutely broken, as I got all that cash after just 5 days of work. Also, if you're wondering why I didn't just first refine these in the Billy Can kit, for whatever reason, only fruit and flowers can be placed in there, not crops like I was led to believe. Combined with selling off some of my other various trinkets, I'm able to gather enough cash to pay off the town debt, place down the plans for the bandstand, and since it's so lame, it only costs the town 25,000 dinks, meaning I can pay that off and also place down the bulletin board. The materials needed for both are relatively simple stuff, so I'm able to finish out the materials for both on the same day. Following morning, our bulletin board is up and running. This functions as a little quest board for townsfolk to hand out. There can be multiple posted at once, but today the only one I can accomplish is a quest from Fletch asking me to pick her up an onion. Conveniently, my onions should be grown before the 4-day deadline, so I accept it.
Photo request. I would love to see a photo containing Bunchuk and Frilly. I don't know what the heck that means, and I will not respond to it.
Rain's back again today, and she's got 2 good seed types, onions or beetroot. In hindsight, I kind of regret spending all my dinks on the town debt yesterday, as I could have reinvested it all into seeds. But I'm determined to still buy myself some seeds, so I make it my goal to grab as much random crap from around the map as I can, sell it off to John, and get as many seeds as God will allow. Mostly this just involves cutting down nearby cactus plants. Yeah, if you hadn't noticed, that's my go-to way to make money, as deep pears sell for a lot. I can cook the figs, and I don't need to feel bad about tearing down the cacti, because they're really not useful for too much. So the small farm I have back on my base is more than enough to last me through the entire game. Plus, it only takes like 3 swings from the axe to take them out, and they're literally everywhere. I also make sure to dig up any relic spots I see while I'm out. I sell off everything I found and managed to total up like 65,000 dings, which allows me to buy 158 beetroot. And I made it just in the nick of time too, as the second I finished purchasing, Rain walked straight out. Thankfully for this batch of seeds though, I had picked up the level 2 farming license, allowing me to craft the copper watering can. Also, I think I forgot to mention this earlier, but unlike all other tools, watering cans never break. They only need to be refilled when they run out of water. The copper hoe is also a significant help, as both it and the watering can cover a 1x3 space. I spend the evening prepping the ground and planting them, and then head back over to town and finish out a request for Rain.
I've decided I really like it here. Let's go. So I spoke to Fletch and I applied for a deed so I could set up a permanent store here in town. Let's go. Okay, that'll be my priority for tomorrow.
But that's not the only exciting thing happening tomorrow, as after what felt like eons, my banana trees are finally grown. While it took a long time to get here, they should be producing now every 5 days. This is definitely less exciting now that Rain is moving in and crops can be our primary income source, but trust me, these fruit trees will still be incredibly useful. I gather around 90 bananas from my tree, which I can then place into the Billy Can kits to make some delicious banana jam. And if I ever get to the point where I'm talking about delicious banana jam in the real world, just go ahead and take me out back and shoot me, as I'm clearly delusional. The mines is finally finished being built today, which means it's time for my first plunge into the real down under.
Okay, into the mines I go. Key, flashlight, needs a mines pass. What? The heck's a mines pass?
I looked through Fletch's licenses, but to no avail, and eventually realized that it's a physical item you can buy from John's shop.
25k? Jeez.
And yes, that is a one-time use pass. Every single time you go into the mines, it costs 25,000 dings. So yeah, grinding our ore is no easy feat. Today is also Theodore's birthday, so instead of a quest, I'm allowed to give him whatever item I want as a birthday gift.
Oh! Cooked cactus fig is my favorite. Let's go! What hearts we got now? Oh, that went up like a heart or something like that. I heard like 75th of a heart.
I sell off my delicious banana jam, which gives me just enough money to afford a mines pass. Wanting to make use of my, let me emphasize it again, one-time use mines pass, I spend the rest of the day preparing for tomorrow's trip. Out behind my house in this little swamp-looking biome, there are these little spider-looking tree things that can be cut down, and once you do, you get mangrove sticks. These can be used to craft myself a ton of torches, which I assume I'll need based on the light sign. I also craft myself some fruit salads for energy, with some giant drumsticks as backup, and then head to bed for the night. I start the day and immediately head over to the mines. Right now, I can only access the first level, so I head down there.
Alright, let's go. Ghoul! Ah, there's a bat! Oh, killed him in one hit.
The way the mines work in Dinkum is that every time you head down there, you're given a completely brand new, randomly generated mines to loot, meaning that anything you place down there will be lost at the day's end. The deep mine is filled with tons of resources though, like tin, copper, and even one we hadn't seen before, iron. While all three are common down here, copper is definitely the most, with trace amounts of iron next, and really not all that much tin. Which is good, you wouldn't want to waste your time with tin when you can grab tons of it already on the surface.
What is this? What's this?
The biggest thing that slows you down here is the swarm of enemies. Firstly, you've got the devils. They can shoot fire at you, and oh boy, is that dangerous. There are a couple pools of water around the mines that you can jump into, but if you're not near one of those and you get set on fire, just restart the day because you are almost certainly gonna die. Next up, we got the bats, and these things, oh god, I hate the bats. I cannot express to you how evil they are. They're just like these flying little nuisances. They float at you in swarms, and it's impossible to hit them as you're just flailing around your freaking spear, missing them a million times, and just go away, please! Finally, the last enemy here is the easiest to avoid, but definitely the strongest, the mushroom gator. It's a gator made of mushrooms. I don't know what you want me to say. You also find these stone chambers throughout that have completely unmineable walls.
Wait, hold on. It said to bring keys. Haha! I gotta use 2 to get in here. Jeez, this better be worth it. A ruby! Oh, that's how I get to the next level. Oh, sick. Oh, okay. This is what I need to carry. Okay.
Okay, so in case you missed any of that, earlier when I was picking out levels in the mines elevator, it said I could access the next level, the Undergrove, using ruby shards. But when I mine up the ruby rock, what came out instead was this little ruby thing that won't go into my inventory. Instead, I need to carry it. If I carry it all the way back to the crusher by the elevator, it then shreds the giant ore node into 4 little ruby shards that I can then use on future days to head down even lower.
The heck is this? The bat spawner? Did I go Minecraft on this?
To this day, I have no idea what this does. Seriously, if anyone knows in the comments, please help me out. My main priority for the day is of course ore, but that is pretty heavily slowed down by the constant swarm of bats I have to fight off. Would you please leave me alone? I managed to find another chamber with a ruby in it, giving me 8 shards, and then another chamber, but this one has a chest inside. So that's not the only thing in here.
You gotta be quick, gotta be quick. Oh, get away from me. Okay, just gotta lure him away from the chest. There is no possible way to lure him away from said chest. Okay, he's stunned. I can't be dying today. I got a slingshot, I think. He has spores? I guess that makes sense. Holy crap. That hurt like crazy, bub. Oh, no. I put him right there. Okay, just go, just go, just go. Oh, I died. Oh, I thought I had it. I have passed out. Revive. What did I lose?
In Dinkum, the only thing you lose upon death is some of the durability on all your tools and about 20% of your dinks on hand. And I had just 400 dinks on me, so way to kick a man while he's down, Gator. And it was well worth it, as inside the chest was one of the most valuable items in the entire game, the boogie board, which greatly increases your swimming speed, which actually doesn't sound that important, but trust me, it will be. With that, it's 10 p.m., so I decided to end my day and head back to the surface. In total, I managed to get 15 tin ore, 25 copper ore, 67 iron ore, 8 ruby shards, the boogie board, and a slingshot that I will never ever use. With the day's remaining time, I realized my multitude of lime trees had finally sprouted, so I harvest them, giving me 102 limes. God dang, I planted a lot of those. I grabbed my now fully grown onions, and luckily for me, it's raining again, so I don't have to spend time on my beetroot. Sell off those, along with some cactus fruit, which gives me a little cash to throw around. But it's not nearly enough, as I go to place down the plant shop deed, and it's gonna cost me 200,000. God dang, what kind of plants are you selling in there, Rain? Hey guys, for legal purposes, that was a joke about gardening, okay? Just gardening. I heard he had my Schedule 1 lose monetization. I could not take another hit here. Anyway, most of the supplies to build the shop are relatively easy to obtain. The only exception is the 10 bags of cement, which aren't hard to get, but will take all day to churn out. In the meantime, it's on to my daily chores, and I just want to shout out my little seashell chest. Like seriously, this thing is a godsend. I just put a small crate with tons of seashells near my town, since NPCs seem to request them literally all the time, and they really don't have any other use. This way, when an NPC asks for one, I can just pop over the crate, grab it, lickety-split. I also need to purchase a regular furnace from John today. Not only is it faster than the crude furnace I had been using, but it also has the ability to process iron bars, saying that the crude furnaces lack. Which is great and all, but god dang, did you need to charge 30,000 dinks for this, John? You'd think he's in a PopCap game the way he's charging. I spent some time processing all my new ore, and then try my hand at fishing once again. I realized the major hurdle I was fighting against is that due to all the way I record footage for my videos, all my audio is like half a second delayed. So I just fight against that by clicking slightly earlier than you would think to. Then in terms of reeling them in, all I have to do is not reel it in while they're pulling away, and then start reeling once they've stopped. And just like that, finally, oh my god. While processing some more ore, I decided to cook some meats as well. However, it is really easy to just accidentally step into the fire while cooking. And like I said before, if you're even slightly injured while you're on fire...
Oh god, oh god. Oh my god. I'm such a moron. Oh my god. Oh my god, are you joking? I am so foolish. Why didn't I just do it sooner? I thought I had more time. I have like a lot of money on me too. Oh god, okay. I have like a ton... Oh god, that's the end of the day? Oh god. Oh god. That's the end? Oh crap. I can't even save Scum now. Oh god.
Yeah, the respawn thing only works while you're in the mines. If you die in the overworld, the day just pretty much straight up ends. I guess they're really not expecting the average player to die all that much in the overworld, which is why I really think game developers should have me test their games before they go live. It'll be the best stress test you could have ever asked for. I'll be doing things so stupid you never could have even dreamed of it. On day 21, my wattle flowers had finished growing, so I make sure to go through and harvest all of those. I go and check out the bulletin board today and notice a pretty abnormal quest. Alpha jackaroo has been spotted at this location. This is a very dangerous alpha animal and should only be taken on by an experienced hunter. And for some reason, I think this is the perfect job for me. You know, the guy who literally died to cooking utensils. I specifically should be the one to take on the alpha jackaroo. Inside the visitor's tent is a new visitor, Clover. I became a nomad a while back, so I just gotta get out of the city. There's no travel around and clothes are locked to make. Yes, Clover is our resident clothes shopkeep, and she convinces me to buy this Argyle sweater I liked, and I'm only just realizing now is the exact same one the museum child is wearing.
Should I buy the Victorian bonnet?
Oh my god, $40,000!
You're crazy. Good luck with your failing business, psycho.
Now that I'm all fitted up, it was time to fight the alpha jackaroo, which should be a piece of cake for me as I've got plenty of experience with alpha males. When I wrote that line, I meant for it to come off like I'm such an alpha myself, but now that I've said it out loud, it sounds more like the beginning of an AO3 story. Luckily, Fletch marked the exact location of the alpha on my map, so I can head straight there.
Is that the alpha jackaroo? Oh my, what the heck? He made a shockwave. I thought with kangaroos, you just had to hit them once. That was like the whole thing with them. Then they like get scared. Holy crap.
Yeah, this thing is no joke. I shove some meat down my gullet for the healing and energy and then start the fight. I've only got my puny little hunting spear, so I just have to wait for his attack and then come back in and whack him. Wait, this combat kind of reminds me of, oh my god, please don't make me go back. Sick him.
I'm actually doing pretty good. Oh, I strung those hits in masterfully. Oh, okay, he only really has these 2 attacks. Expert hunter? Bro, this is easy. Baby game. Oh god, okay, never mind, I'm sorry, Mr. Jackaroo, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I didn't really see a combo them, that doesn't seem fair. Okay, I take back everything I said, I take it all back, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I feel like I should have got hit by that, and then I got hit by that. Why aren't I healing? I still don't understand how the healing works in this game.
But luckily for you guys, post-commentary Shawnee does, so I can explain it to you. See how in the corner after eating my meat, my healing factor went up 6 per T? Well, T, I'm almost positive stands for tick. See this little circle next to my health bar? After getting hit, the circle starts filling up with the speed based off your current food buffs, with the default being no healing at all. Once the circle fills up entirely, you'll heal a fixed percentage of your health. However, if you get hit again before the circle has filled, the circle will reset and you'll miss out on some healing. I actually really like this system because it prevents every fight from just looking like this.
Oh, Bonza! Onya!
Yeah, since I only have hunting license level 1, my hunting spear is incredibly weak and this takes a long time. But finally, after a 7-minute fight...
Come on, we're so close. Yes! You've been slain! Yes! Whew, that was tense. Oh my god. What did I get for that?
Not only do I get a milestone for defeating my first ever alpha, I got 3 pieces of prime meat and an alpha antler.
Got a taste for blood now. Guys, wow, those things give you a lot, dang.
I turn the Alpha Slayer quest into Fletch, who gives me 18,000 dinks. Dang, that is a lot of money to give out for killing something in a place that your ancient little legs could never even carry you to. I decide to spend the rest of the night catching fish for my Critterpedia, as right now I've just got 1 single entry. I grab the Barku Grunter, which, why did they name this fish like a slur? The carp, the largemouth bass, and the rainbow fish. The next morning, we've got a very special visitor in town.
Who's the visitor today? Max.
Good day, me name Max. I'm Theodore little brother.
Little? What? Dude, you look old as hell. What the heck are you talking about little?
Speak of Theodore, he mentioned Barracuda on my grandmother's tongue for you. Means today's one of the only days you ever find him the whole day. I'm hosting me soon to be famous fishing camp today.
Like Max said, the object of the fishing contest is to catch the normally rare Barracuda. Each Barracuda you catch is worth 1 point, and you're competing against all the other townsfolk. So I head to the North Ocean and start trying to fish them up.
The heck, a shark? Is that the Barracuda? Are you a Barracuda? This is a eye strip surgeonfish. Okay, so not a Barracuda. This is a Barracuda? Kind of looks like a Barracuda. I caught a blue spot flathead. Not what I wanted. Is that the Barracuda? Nope, that's a clam.
And as I'm sure you've gathered, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Not only do I have no clue what a Barracuda looks like, I started incredibly late. I get a notification that the fishing competition is going to end in 1 hour, and then I really need to report my score back at the tent, but I am very doubtful that my score of 0 is going to win, so I decide to instead just keep fishing in the ocean. I'm getting tons of new fish for the museum, and I'm hoping the unique conditions of the contest will allow me to to catch the elusive barracuda. I'm having trouble finding it, and since it's supposed to be found in the North Ocean, I figure I should try going out even further. I have no idea if this was accurate or not, but it does work. I managed to hook one up, and he puts up quite the fight. But after a while of back and forth,
Here we go. This looks like a barracuda, right? Yes! Okay, I didn't win the competition, but at least I caught one.
now that I know what they look like, it makes it much easier to find them, so I'm able to actually pick up 4 additional ones. I fish until my pockets are filled, head back, water my beetroot, and then call it a day. The following day, my beetroots are ready, and I can donate all the fish I caught to Theodore, evening out our fish and bug numbers. We've got a lot to sell today at John's Goods. Firstly, I sell the 4 barracudas I caught, which...
Oh my god, 52K! Jeez!
yeah, those barracudas are each worth 12,000 dinks. In addition to that, I can sell my 130 beetroot for nearly 200,000 dinks.
We're making the big money now.
I can reinvest all this money back into onions, which takes 7 days to grow, which definitely should not be a problem. Definitely not at all. I invest every cent I have and buy 600 onions, which is a lot of onions, but luckily, my hoed spots from the crop yield this morning are still there. Combined with the 2 copper hoes, I should be able to make a significant dent into them. Luckily, I'm sent a gift from the gods, and midway through the day, it starts raining, which is going to save me so much time in watering. Miraculously, I end up actually being able to get all 600 of them down. But for the next couple days now, all we're gonna have time for is gonna be watering these onions. It's tough and time consuming, but it'll all be worth it when we're raking in these huge profits from when this batch definitely actually totally blooms. Though because I had extended my crop plot so far out to the left here, it just looks absolutely abysmal, like it's on a different plane and just looks like this giant fat lump sticking out to the side of my garden. Also, someone gifted me this tiger hood, which is the greatest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. On day 25, I had finally synced it up so that all of the fruit trees were ready on the same day, making harvesting them way easier. Despite not being nearly as profitable as farming, there's definitely some legitimacy to using fruit trees, as you could in theory expand them infinitely since every harvest gives you 3 to 4 more trees. I find a beehive which I can break open with an axe. This has a set drop table, and unfortunately I got one of the poorer ones in just regular bees and honey. Not all bad news though, as I did need a bee for the museum. Each day it takes me about 12 real life minutes to water all the crops, and just as I'm about to finish on day 25,
Oh, dang it!
on day 26 I buy the farming license level 3 since I have an insane amount of permit points. This lets me now craft the iron watering can, which should literally half the amount of time it takes me to water my fields. Clover's in town today, and I secure the fit that I'll be rocking for a considerable portion of this playthrough: orange hoodie and comically large astronaut helmet. This outfit costs 30,000 dinks, and I have 0 regrets. To try and subdue my watering woes, I talked to Granny about getting the irrigation license. I buy the first level, which lets me craft standard sprinklers, and the second level letting me craft advanced sprinklers. But when I go to craft one, 5 copper bars per sprinkler and 4 old springs as well. Not to mention the advanced sprinkler not only requires 5 more iron bars, 4 more old springs, but you also need a regular sprinkler to craft it. Well, back to hand watering for me. Yeah, sprinklers are very difficult to craft in Dinkum, and cultivating your automated garden in paradise is a very involved process, so it'll be a bit until I can lay out a whole army of them. On day 28, I harvest all my fruits, but now relying on crops for my income, I can turn them into fruit salads. Franklin's visiting today, and I give him some shiny discs, which are also another type of relic. Frank will buy them off you, not only giving you, of course, dinks, but it'll also let him extract some information from them, expanding his catalog of available items. Unfortunately, his list is a little too rich for my blood, so I pass for now. Completing a quest for everyone's favorite incel gives me the final fruit tree type, a coconut, which I plant by the shoreline. Finally, I finish out my day by watering the onions.
You know, I just realized it's the 28th of the season, so these are all gonna die tomorrow. Oh god. That was so stupid. Alright. That's a $300,000 mistake.
I head to bed, tail between my legs, and wake up on the first day of autumn where...
Oh my god, thank god. Oh my god, God bless. Not questioning. Sure, whatever, sure. Not sure if that's a glitch or if that's supposed to happen, but I am not. It's probably like they just give you a grace day.
And yes, exactly like I mentioned there, Dinkum is nice enough to give you a grace day with your crop. If I was to sleep another day, they'd all die. But thankfully, my gigantic mistake actually ended up being a perfectly timed slam dunk. I go through and scythe up all my crops, which ends me off with around 1,700 onions. Though unfortunately, John's is closed every Sunday, which also happens to be the first of the season, so I can't reinvest that money today. I'm not sure if this was an intentional choice to make you have to plan it out more, or an unintended oversight, but I can tell you how many times this has completely screwed me over. It's like, why would you close on the most important day of the season, John? Don't you understand you're completely impeding my progress? I decided to instead use this time to set up and organize my new farming setup. Obviously, the former system I was using was a complete wreck, so this time I want to be slightly more uniform. The main way I look towards doing this is by using the shovel to move the dirt around. Obviously, I'm not going to move this entire dirt section one by one, but I do my best to maneuver it around to create two distinct sections, one by the lower layer and another by the upper. I'm also setting up this land for future sprinklers, with each dirt mound representing where an advanced sprinkler will be slapped down. It's not a perfect system, of course, but honestly, considering the layout I started out with, I feel like I adapted the land pretty good. The instinct would, of course, to be start planting the following day, but I soon realized that I don't have nearly enough resources to even craft a single sprinkler. So instead, I decided to make the next day a mines day. I head to John's, sell off all my onions for an insane 900,000 dinks, and purchase a mines pass. I also buy the upgraded hunting license so that I can make a stronger weapon. Unfortunately, they all require copper, which my lack of is the entire reason I'm going to the mines, so I just head down with my lowly little spear. There are two main reasons I'm heading down to the first layer with just my mines pass, as opposed to using my ruby shards to head to the undergrowth. The first, like I mentioned, is for the copper ore. The second are these rusted cars that are surprisingly common down here. Breaking these open will give you a bunch of different relics, but most important are the old springs. Old springs are the most important resource across sprinklers, as to make the advanced ones, you'll need 8 of them, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, if you had ever played Dinkum before, you would understand that it really is. This is gonna sound kind of crazy, but the main problem I encounter while in the deep mines is there's just like too much iron. Like, the iron is so common, it's hard to even find copper down here. And I mean, iron ore is technically a rare ore, so what am I supposed to do, ignore it? I spend all day down there, but get a ton of my time bogged down dealing with annoying little critters. Eventually, I head home, but it takes me a while. And once it hits late, something strange starts happening.
What the heck? Oh my god, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, that's Dinkum's way of preventing you from just spending infinite time down the mines and getting you the heck out. The trip was pretty underwhelming though, only grabbing 45 copper ore, 80 iron ore, and 3 old springs. The main reason for this is that my pickaxe broke pretty early on in the day and I didn't have a backup. In the future, I'll need to prepare a ton more. The following day, I realized that for the past 18 hours of gameplay, I had been a crazed man running around in an astronaut helmet who sleeps in a tent, so it's about time that I upgrade to an actual house. Then at John's Goods, I buy a couple different things, all in preparation for the mines. Firstly, the flashlight, which will make it much easier to see and make torches less of a necessity. Then additional furnaces to start chunking through the huge pile of iron I now have sitting around. I buy a medical kit, which is the only item in the game that allows for instant healing, but it only has 3 uses. I of course buy a pickaxe, as I need to be buying one per day, along with a mines pass. If you couldn't tell already, this entire season is going to be dedicated to the mines in service to having a sprawling field of sprinklers by the end of the month. I use my copper from yesterday to make a spear and a pickaxe, and then head back down once again. My spout in the mine goes okay, but I realized I had made a fatal error of only bringing large cooked drumsticks as my food source, which only provides energy, no health. This ends exactly as you think it would, and I die midway through my trip and am forced to restart the day. Dying right now is pretty brutal, as I have 800,000 dinks on me. So if I'm to pass out, I lose like 150,000 of those. I have at the mines again, and it goes a lot better, though the copper results are still pretty underwhelming, as despite mining up like 130 iron ore, I've got a measly 40 copper. On full fourth, it feels good to wake up in an actual home as opposed to the dank walls of our former tent. Like Tony Stark, I learned from my mistakes, so I craft a whole bunch of fruit salads for future healing use down there. Cooked meat is also an excellent energy and healing source and pretty easy to get. I just go around, find some kangaroos, stab them a few times, and take my delicious meat back home. For inserting so many dinks into the economy, which is a funny way of saying hoarding, I've unlocked the ability to now build a bank, which would be perfect for letting me store my dinks and not have to worry about passing out, so I start the process of building that out. Thankfully, all the asks are pretty easy, so I can build it without much issue. Like I said before, most of autumn is really going to be just going to the mines grind for sprinklers, so I'm going to rapidly speed through this month and just point out the standouts, as you can assume I'm going to be heading to the deep mine just about every day. On the 6th, we get a new visitor, Melvin. His specialty is furniture, which of course, as a famously terrible interior designer, means nothing to me. On the 7th, I managed to accumulate 5 advanced sprinklers, so I go to Rains to plant out some seeds and decide on pumpkins, because the other crops seem like they wouldn't be nearly as strong. A decision that I will definitely end up regretting. I also make sure to pick up the mining level 3 permit, and now allows me to craft an iron pickaxe. Of course, this still requires a copper pickaxe to use as a base, but luckily for me, I've been saving some of my used copper pickaxes right before they break, and then can just convert them all to fully durable iron picks. Similarly, in tool news, I switch over from a copper spear user to a croc teeth bat guy. This is slightly more expensive, requiring crocodile teeth and hardwood planks, but instead swings in a circle, which makes it much better for dealing with pesky bats in the mines, as you don't have to have pinpoint precision. Day 8, though, is different from all the others, as it's our first holiday, Skyfest.
Hey, Spike Jones, hey, Skyfest. I reckon the sky could get prettier than last year. Oh, Spike Jones' stinky wicket's gone very nicely. With our current population, South City has officially recognized Sticky Wicket as a settlement. That means we can upgrade the base tent into a real town hall. Tell you what, I'll cover the cost myself. Oh, that's nice. You've really changed my life for the better. In fact, everyone here on Stinky Wicket owes it all to you. It's not that much, we want to give you a gift. What? Oh my god, that's so sweet. Golden kangaroo. Bonza.
Happy Skyfest to you, Spike Jones. I've got some great activities planned for today, so I hope you stick around. You see, today's the day where we'll see all around Aurora. It's a rare occurrence, but even here on Sticky Wicket. Well, around 11 a.m., everyone will be making a kite. Make sure to talk to me around 11 a.m. to get your kite kit.
Righto, Spike Jones, here's your kite kit.
I was up all night making one for everyone.
After opening up a kite kit, I've got a couple options for the type of kite that I can craft, like a standard kite, this box one, and a sled. Who would craft this? This has got to be the ugliest kite I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't even look like a kite. I, of course, go with the box kite, which I can then fly out of my inventory. At 3 o'clock, the event proper starts, though. For this event, a bunch of paper lanterns will be flying up in the air, and if you whack them with your box kite, a little prize ticket will fall out. These tickets can be cashed in for a series of cosmetically themed items. This is actually pretty fun. I like just wandering around trying to whack the lanterns out of the sky. I go at it for pretty much the entire holiday and pick up a searchlight, a tinfoil hat, this absolutely atrocious shirt and hat set that looks like someone tried to draw the northern lights on a piece of construction paper, and finally spend the rest of my prize tickets on star carpets that can be used as pathing. I use these around the front of my house, and it actually looks pretty cool. Final item I grabbed was this little moon lamp that I ended up keeping next to my bed for the rest of this playthrough. The following day is pretty exciting too, as today I use our ruby shards to head to the second layer of the mines, the Undergrove.
To the Undergrove! Oh, look at all this loot. Look at all this iron. Oh my god, the iron pickaxe is so much better, holy crow.
Immediately inside, we find the key to unlocking the next layer of the mines, emerald shards, which I immediately bring back to the crusher back at spawn.
Holy crap! Oh my god, what the heck was that? Didn't like it. I'll tell you that much. Did not like that one.
I also brought my bug net down into the caves and I'm able to catch myself a glow bug, an insect exclusive to the mines. The first thing you need to know about this layer of the mines is that the grubs down here are worse than any enemy from the deep mine.
Ah! Die, grubs! Oh, I can pick up these stone lanterns. Sick! Oh, there's a pod there, I see. That's where they're all spawning out of. Ah! Leave me alone. Ah, those things are danger. I just wanted these lanterns for my house.
The second thing you need to know about the Undergrove is that it's almost exclusively iron down here, and there is a ton of it. The third thing you need to know is that the lizards are even worse than the grubs.
Okay, I should probably fight this thing, right? Oh, there's two of them. Ah, I'm being swarmed. Oh my god, I did a lot of damage to him. Oh my god, he did a lot of damage to me. Holy crap. And I'm poisoned, I guess? Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh my god. Oh my god, leave me alone. Screw you all. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. All right, let's try that one again. You know, that day wasn't going super well anyway.
The lizards are quick and do big damage, and they can also inflict you with a status called sickness. This not only prevents you from eating, but also makes you not restore stamina the entire time you're sick, which slows you down and prevents you from attacking them for minutes at a time.
Yeah, get screwed, bro. That's how we do it. For all that for 2 bones, really? Seemed like a lot of stress for nothing.
Yeah, 90% of your time in the Undergrove is really going to be spent either running from lizards or fighting them. But it is more than worth it, as in just a single day down here, I've managed to gather up 230 iron ore. I can also use all the beautiful stone lanterns we got around the farm to make it a little nicer at night, so equally cool. The next morning,
whoa, look at our town hall. Cool.
Tell you what, it's blowing beautiful. Now Sticky Wicket's got a name on the map. Thanks again for all your help.
We actually got a new deed. It's a town bell. Now there's so many people. A town bell will keep track of every... What?
I placed down the deed to the town bell, but it's insanely expensive, costing a whopping 10 copper bars, 10 iron bars, some planks, and a resource I've never even heard of called an opal. So it seems like we won't be building that anytime soon. I also forgot to mention that John asked me for a piece of clothing, and I gifted him this fedora I found, thinking nothing of it. And he would proceed to wear it for the rest of my playthrough. Oh my god, he looks like Reddit's final boss, the Bacon Narwaler. Back in the deep mine, I make sure to solely focus on copper now that I can get so much iron from Deep Grove, which greatly improves my results, and I walk home with like 150 copper this time. Eventually, I've got more than enough ore, and the real thing I'm lacking is old springs, so I spend a while just going around with the shovel searching for relic spots. I've got a request on the billboard for the second of the 3 alphas, the Alpha Croco.
Oh, beat that, bro. Oh my god. Dude, I'm messing him up. Oh my god. You ain't got jack crap on me. You're stuck on a little rock, you dummy. Oh my god, almost got him at half health already. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing for you. Oh, I have no energy left. Okay, this is embarrassing for me now. Holy... Bro. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna kill him. Dude, you did all that and I hit you with 1, bro. You got nothing on me.
Feeling infinite endorphins from my win against the Alpha Croco, I decide to mess up another gator on the way home.
Are you joking? Are you joking, bro?
But after a reset, I'm once again easily able to take out the beast. That night, I also make a pretty brutal realization that all my pumpkins are never gonna grow. Basically, to make a really long story short, pumpkins are like nuts, man. And they like extend out and the seeds are just like the root or bros, there's no way I'm trying to figure all this out, so I just tear down the entire thing. On the bright side, I've now got 12 advanced sprinklers, which gives me room to plant 288 crops. Also, the owner of the bank has moved in and he's just a real wet towel, just a gross nut of a person. For my crop of choice, I go with cabbages and slap those all into the ground, now knowing that I need not worry about them at all. With all those set up, I make my end of autumn goal to catch the season's bugs and fish. The real current difficulty is that you kind of have to traverse the entire map to find what you're looking for, especially with fishing. Each bug you catch, you just like run up to it, swing the net, boom, you got a bug. Each fish, you gotta like look in the water to see what kind of fish it is, and maybe it looks like a fish you already caught before, but I also don't remember what a freaking barcoo grunter looks like submerged when it's underwater. There's also a third section in the Critterpedia for a third type of animal, diving creatures. Across the floor on some bodies of water, there are like these little mollusks and stuff on the ground. Bro, I'm not gonna explain this. If you made it this far into the video, you've played Animal Crossing and you know how this works. There are 25 diving critters for you to collect as well, and thankfully having the fishing level 2 permit makes them emit bubbles, making them 10 times easier to find. On day 15, I load into the game and...
Okay, let's try this one again.
Thankfully, a reload solves all my issues. After getting Clover to a full heart, she offers to move in fully, meaning I can now outfit Sticky Wicket with Thread Space, the clothing store. But that's not the only exciting thing today, as Fall 15th gives us a brand new visitor.
Who's visiting today? Who is this? Looks like Theodore's sister. Oh, hello. My name is Julia. Theodore. Oh, it is. Oh, okay, wow. He's my big brother. Theodore told me your name is Spike Jones. I asked if you like bugs and stuff. He said he didn't know. So anyway, do you like bugs? I really like bugs. Oh, there's a bug catching contest today. Oh, cool. I want to join.
The bug catching contest is a little different from the fishing contest, as instead of just trying to catch one specific type of creature, every bug in the game has been assigned a points value based off the bug's rarity, with the object of the contest of course being to accumulate the most points. Common bugs like the blue moon butterfly are only worth a single point, while other rarer bugs like the paper wasp can be worth upwards of 4 or even...
Nice. 10 points. Way to go.
I spend the full time running around from 9 to 4. Thankfully, you don't need to turn in all of the bugs. Once you've caught it, your point is automatically tallied. I'm out there catching stuff until the final buzzer beats 10 minutes before 4.
Okay, let's go clock our score. I feel like I did pretty good. 40 points, that seems good. What the heck? Oh god, I wasn't even close. God, I got blown out. Oh jeez.
Yeah, little did I know, competition at the bug contest is incredibly stiff. Like, someone got over 100 points. How do you catch 100 bugs? On the bright side, I did find 2 unique bugs to donate to the museum. I built out the wish fountain for the town, which is going to be incredibly important later on, but for now, it's just a little scenery in the center of Stinky Wicket. I changed up my look once again at Thread Space. This one's based off how I dress in real life. I get the brewing license so I can make kegs to further refine the juice I'm making in my Billy Can kits, but for some reason, I can only refine the yellow wattle flowers and bottle brush tea extracts, none of the fruit jams I've been making. That night, I head into the Northern Ocean in search of one of the hardest fish to catch in the game, the yellowfin tuna. I do eventually find one, but pulling this thing in is no joke, and my line starts at basically 0. So even making a single mistake will cost me everything. So it's time to lock in, to persevere, to conquer the ocean.
Okay.
What? I lost it, damn it. The next morning, we got a brand new visitor named Sally. She's an amateur hairdresser who can, of course, give you a vasectomy. While scrolling through the hair options, I make a crucial mistake, though.
Oh crap! No, I didn't mean to pick this one. Oh god, I thought that select was gonna do something else.
Thankfully, I won't have to look like every white man in Silver Lake for long. I instead decide on the much more eloquent Goku hair. On Fall 19, I finally convinced Franklin to move into Stinky Wicket, which I'm honestly surprised took so long. He was one of the first NPCs to start coming to the visitor site. Though my town has become so overpopulated that I have to place his shop all the way out on the outskirts of town. And while Franklin's here, I commissioned him to make his first ever item, the compactor, which will allow me to level the ground more easily, no longer having to use a shovel. I purchased the hunting license level 3, which will now let me craft a ton of new weapons, most important of which is the upgraded version of the Croco Bat, the Flaming Bat. This is going to become my primary weapon for the rest of this playthrough, as it's insanely strong and has the ability to set enemies on fire. I spent the 20th completely flattening out the land where I want to place my sprinklers. I didn't explain this before, but you need to place down sprinklers in extremely specific locations, as they can't just pull water from nowhere, they need to be in a 10-block radius from a water tank. So because of this, I have to plan out my sprinklers in specific spots so they can even work, giving me a base layout for my farm. On Fall 21, I meet perhaps my least favorite NPC in the entire game, Sheila. I cannot express to you how much I hate this ungodly, rotten, complete waste of pixels. She single-handedly added hours onto this run that I will never get back. But more on that later. For now, she just has a request that I can't fulfill. The next day, I do a mines run, and I'd like to take this time to explain something that I definitely have been putting off: what 100%ing this game even means. Now, you might have noticed by now that Dinkum lacks Steam achievements. Now, that of course brings up the question: what would 100%ing Dinkum even entail then? How can you judge it if you don't have a metric to even measure it? Now, there is a kind of in-game mechanic that is similar to achievements, and that's milestones. These mark your progress doing certain tasks like watering crops, making money, picking fruit, killing enemies, etc. So a lot of people would probably suggest using these as a metric. However, it seems like these milestones haven't been updated in a while, or at least aren't supposed to equate to 100% completion, as there are huge parts of the game missing from the milestone book, like finishing the museum, unlocking the last tier of ore, anything related to NPC friendship. I wouldn't be showing off a lot of the game's central mechanics, instead just like driving around in a helicopter for 1,000 miles, which, trust me, you don't want to watch that. So for this game, I have done what many would consider heresy and made up my own definition of what 100% Dinkum is. Now, I can hear all your comments now claiming that I'm cheating, going easy on myself, or just generally being lazy. And trust me, you do not need to worry about that, because being probably an hour into this video, we've still got 70 hours of footage to go through. So what did I consider 100%? Well, I tried to base it off of perfection in Stardew Valley, as it was the closest example I could think of. And here's what I came up with. 1. Fully complete the museum. That means donating all 45 fish, 50 bugs, and 25 critters. 2. Build out every single building in your town. That not only means having every single NPC move into your town, it also means crafting all the specialty buildings and upgrading them all to their fullest, including your own house. 3. Completely fill in the NPC tab of the PDF. This basically boils down to 2 goals in one. Get max hearts with every resident NPC, and also meet every special visitor. 4. Win both the fish contest and the bug contest. 5. Order every single one of Franklin's special inventions. All of the vehicles, the tool upgrades, everything. Spoiler alert, this would go on to be the metric I regret putting on this list the most. 6. Deposit 10 million dinks into the bank. This one's kind of just completely arbitrary, but I based the 10 million off of Stardew Valley's golden clock, and it just feels appropriate here. And finally, unlock every single license in the game, letting you do anything you wish on this island. Now, if you know anything about Dinkum, you'll understand that this is a tall list. Like, probably too tall. If I'm being honest, this is probably a larger undertaking than the milestones. So even though it's not official, I hope you can all find this acceptable as an alternative. And if you don't, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and send me an email at wallagug@gmail.com. With all that in mind, it was time to start working towards the first goal on that list, finishing out the museum. And that becomes significantly easier once I donate the tiger moth, which puts me at 50% completion of the museum. This opens up perhaps the most useful items in the entire game, the fish and bug books. These 2 critter books can be purchased at the museum itself for a hefty 120,000 each. But trust me, it's more than worth it. Upon opening the fish book, it'll show you what every single fish swimming in the river is named, along with its sell price. And perhaps more importantly, any fish that you've never caught before is signified with a little question mark. This is so helpful, like, oh my god! Genuinely one of the smartest features in the game. The bug one is already incredibly helpful, and they made the fish one even better, as you can barely see what fish is usually down deep in the water. It lets you see fish and bugs super far away from you, instead of having to check each and every single bug you see. The only thing is that there's no equivalent for this for diving creatures. I still feel like I haven't even expressed to you how important these books are, like, oh my god, they're so convenient. This lets me snatch up the remaining critters much faster, which is good, as being able to use the books to knock out the plentiful creatures that I hadn't happened upon yet means I can spend more time searching for the myriad of rare critters that the game holds. And trust me, we'll be getting into those later. Using the fish book by going far out into the Southern Ocean, I'm able to find another yellowfin tuna. Despite hooking it inches away from land, he immediately pulls away from me. Obviously, the key is to go slow and be as careful as possible, but even with the copper fishing rod, my bar is starting so small that it still manages to get away. And unlike most fish in the game, once the tuna breaks the line, you're completely unable to rehook it. On the bright side though, I do manage to hook up one of the rarest fish in the game, the blobfish. I do eventually find another yellowfin tuna, but he's way too far away from the shore for me to be able to reach him, so I have to go with another strategy.
Come here, buddy. Come on, I'm reining you in. Come on, come on.
I do eventually manage to push the tuna into the store, meaning I can now hook it up. Of course, keeping it on the line is a long back and forth, but eventually...
Nice.
I commissioned Franklin for his second ever invention, the charging station. The charging station does exactly what it sounds like and charges things. A lot of Franklin's tools, like the compactor we use to flatten out the ground behind my house, are electrical and can have their durability reset if you charge them in the station. This also applies to other electrical-based items like the flashlight and the miner's hat that I would go on to receive later. With my flaming bat, the mines have now become significantly easier to explore, not only leading to greater yields, but less resets and as such, less time. The other item that helps me significantly in the mines is the jackhammer. This is basically a rechargeable pickaxe that, yeah, actually, it's just that. It has less strength and moves faster, but basically, it's a pickaxe. This also means I can stop my daily tool trips to John's Goods. Later that day, I head to the southern half of the island, as it was time for me to take on the final alpha creature, the Alpha Devil.
Oh my god, that thing is large. Oh my god, he shot so much fire! Oh, okay, I need to eat meat. I forgot to eat before I got here. I shouldn't have brought my fire weapon to this, I realized in hindsight, because he's immune to fire, because he is a fire thing.
This is definitely the hardest of all the alpha bosses, but the most important thing is to make sure you're near a body of water, as his fireballs are going to be constantly setting you ablaze. Besides that, though, I'm sure you realize by now that the combat mechanics in this game aren't too deep, and most enemies can kind of be cheesed by jumping over them as long as they don't swarm you. With this, I can take out the game's final alpha and reap my precious alpha eye reward. My next big priority is to fix up the village square, because as of right now, this place just looks absolutely abhorrent. I mean, oh my god, this is so horrible to look at. Of course, this starts with leveling out the ground here with the compactor, though due to its limited charge, I can only do so much per day before needing to bring it to the charging station. It's my first day of winter, and well, everything looks the same. Yeah, apparently most parts of Australia don't really have seasons, which begs the question, why do people live there again?
Oh, that makes sense.
Despite spending the first half of fall focused on making more sprinklers, I still don't have enough for the full water tank setup, sitting at a little over half with 14 of them. But that's still enough for nearly 350 crops, which should be more than fine for now. And yes, despite it being winter, there are still crops for us to plant, and good ones too, as I buy 700 kale seeds, which ends up being one of the most profitable crops in the game. By winter 2, I had finished the process of completely flattening out the area around my town, which now meant the long process of individually moving each building in the village. This takes a while, as you can only move a single building per day, it costs 25,000 dinks each to move, and you can't move a building that overlaps with its current location. So say you want to move a building 2 squares to the right, you actually need to move it to a completely different spot first, and then move it to the spot you wanted the next day. I won't mention it too much going forward, but just know that every day I'm moving buildings in order to make this village actually more closely reflect a town square. I spend the first couple days of the season fishing up some new critters for the museum. On day 6, my kale is grown, and for just the 300 I planted, John offers me 500,000. And while I'm replanting the next batch, it also starts to snow.
Snow is like rain, but cold.
Okay, but seriously, it also spreads snowballs around the map that you can break open to get these snowballs items. I end up spending a lot of time on the beach, as it's the easiest way to spot any relic spots, because it has no elevation and doesn't go through any biomes with grass in it. I also gave Milburn my paper bag and instantly regretted it, as he would proceed to wear this for the rest of the playthrough. I gave him so many other hats and helmets to wear, but no, he likes sitting in the disgusting used lunchbox. Not really the best look for a banker, but you do you, I guess, Milburn. Now, I had finally crafted my town's wishing well, and like I said earlier, this is no ordinary set piece. By throwing 150,000 dinks into it, you can put a special wish into place for your town to do cool things like increasing your daily luck or preventing animals from attacking you. For me though, I decided to go with the bountiful wish, which makes fish and bugs more common, as there are tons of winter bugs to catch and even more in this upcoming spring. Bountiful my behind, bro. I've also now officially filled out the 24 sprinkler layout, the max I can use without crafting another water tank. You may have noticed I fenced it all in with walls. This is because scarecrows are not enough to keep your crops protected. You'll also need a way to keep out wild roaming animals like porcupines and kangaroos. With this many crops though, harvesting them all takes a while. Between planting and replanting it almost takes a whole day, which is a lot when you need to change your crops like every 6 days. I've also completely redone my base area, now having 2 sides of storage, as my old boxes were just getting absolutely cramped with how much I was stuffing into them. I even had some paint from the mines that I've used to color coat them as well. I'm doing a routine trip to the Undergrove when I open up a chest to find something that shocks me. Zirconium ore, what the heck? Yes, apparently there is a whole other tier of ore that I haven't even encountered yet. So just as I was thinking this was all gonna be over, we've still got 10 times more to do. On the bright side though, I did find this sick candle hat that places an infinite torch on my head, an absolute necessity in the dark mines runs. As winter's end starts to approach, I put all my energy into finding the remaining Critterpedia entries for winter exclusive fish. And this goes a lot better than I thought, as still with a full week left in the season, I find the most valuable fish in the game, the lungfish, which sells for a whopping 50,000 dinks. It does does manage to escape my line once, but thankfully it doesn't disappear into the ether like the tuna does, so I can rehook it and grab it for my museum. I'm actually not sure why this sells for nearly double what the tuna sells for, as it doesn't really seem all that rare, and the rehooking makes it easier to catch. Not to mention, as you'll soon come to realize, the river is far and away the easiest place to catch any fish in the game. It's small, so your line can always reach, there's land on both sides, so you don't have to search through the water. If there's ever an option for a fish, I always prefer catching it in the river. And speaking of fish, the 22nd is the second annual fishing competition, but this time I came prepared. A few days ago, I had purchased the vehicle license level 1, which lets me craft a rowboat. I can then place this rowboat into the Northern Ocean so that I can row around the water. This makes finding and getting to the barracudas much easier. Combine this with the fishing book, meaning I can spot them from miles away, means that this goes infinitely better than my last attempt. I'm just fishing them up back to back to back. In fact, by the end of the day, I fished up 10 barracudas. This puts me in a strong first place, meaning I've knocked off one of our Dinkum perfection checks by winning the fishing competition. And just as some icing on the cake, Max will buy any fish off of you at 2.5 of whatever the normal value is, giving me a nice 350,000 dinks to go along with my winnings. On the 23rd, I commissioned one of, if not Franklin's most important inventions, the tractor. The tractor cost a whopping 25 old gears, 2 old contraptions, 20 iron bars, and 1.5 million dinks. Dear Lord. But trust me, this is so insanely absolutely worth it. Unfortunately though, I can only use the first 2 modes, being harvesting crops and hoeing down the ground. The final mode, the one that lets you plant new seeds, is locked behind a license that costs 6,000 permit points. So it'll be a while before we fully unlock the capabilities of the tractor. Still, collecting is probably the most time-consuming part of farming, so I'm not too mad. I spent the last few days of winter trying to find one of the most difficult critters in the game, the blue sea slug. Not only is this only found at night, which is of course the most annoying time for something to be available, as you then have to wait through the rest of the day before even starting your search, and it doesn't have the benefit of being a super long time slot like day is. On top of that, it's an incredibly rare spawn. I have my boogie board to go faster, but that's not enough, as I search for this thing night after night after night to just no avail. No blue sea slug for me. By the end of winter, I had maxed out my friendships with Rain, John, Clover, Milburn, Theodore, and Fletch, with Franklin being incredibly close. Also, if you're wondering why it shows that some of them are missing a quarter heart, I have no idea. It's a weird visual glitch that sometimes happens. Or maybe it's like a decay mechanic that only ever happens at a quarter and I just don't understand it. Either way, they're maxed. I decided to give up looking for the sea slug on the last day of the month, as I learned of an incredibly important mechanic that's gonna make this process much quicker: coconut drink. If you put 10 coconuts into a Billy Can kit, then you get out coconut drink, which has the unique property of boosting your speed underwater. So since that's gonna aid in finding our underwater critters so much, I decided to just wait to do any critter hunting until I have a solid supply. This, of course, means replanting every coconut I get for now. And with that, it was the first day of the final season of the year, spring. I used my tractor to plow out new crop spots, of which I plant with a bunch of onion seeds. Spring is the season I'm missing the most bugs from. Luckily for me though, on just spring 2, I managed to find a ton of the more annoying bugs like the lacewing, tiger beetle, and just a few days later, the ladybird. This is also the season where I start barreling through a lot of Franklin's easier inventions. Things like the weather station and bomb, as I've generated a ton of relics on my sprinkler grind. I'm also able to commission my first ever vehicle from him, the motorbike.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Does this thing jump? What the heck? This is sick. Take this kangaroo. Oh my god, this is sick. Boost. Oh wow, that is much faster than I initially thought. It can't go everywhere since it's still of course bound to the ground, but it's great for getting to the town or when I need to go to the ocean for fish and critters. I've also befriended Sally enough to get her permanently moved into the town, which leaves only 3 more NPCs we have to recruit. I also made a gigantic discovery on spring 13. You see, one of these days in the undergrove, I came across a chest containing a leaf glider. Now at the time, I really thought nothing of it. Thought maybe it could be useful if you were falling from like a high ledge or something, but oh boy, how wrong I was, as the glider is one of the best items in the entire game. If you just jump and then glide, the speed at which you fly is so much faster than walking. Not only is this just great in the overworld, it's even better in the mines, where you can just thread yourself through all the poles and get wherever you could possibly need. Spring 15 is the day of the bug contest, and this time I'm prepared to win. Instead of just going for any old bug this time, I make sure to only prioritize high point value bugs, which is made a lot easier by the fact that I have the book to seek them out. How much are cicadas worth?
8! Oh my god.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea why they made cicadas worth so many points, because they are one of the most common bugs in the game. So this contest really just turns into the cicada grinding fest, searching through every single mangrove on the map to find as many of them as possible. And clearly this strategy worked, as I come in first with 237 points. Seeing as stupid incel John came in second with just 132, he clearly did not understand the cicada strat here. Or maybe I just caught all the cicadas before he was able to. Irregardless, that's the first Dinkum 100% requirement fully checked off. I finally unlocked the last level of the tractor, meaning I can now plant plant huge amounts of potatoes at once. From here, making money and farming are pretty automated, so I'm gonna stop mentioning it. It's just a lot of time in the tractor. Speaking of vehicles, I also had this ride-on mower commission from Franklin. Not really much to say about this, but it was fun. But now it was time to prep for one of the longest grinds in the game, Zirconium ore. And to start this off, I changed my current well wish to be peaceful wish. This makes enemies significantly less likely to attack you. Then I spend the following few days going to the Undergrove and mining out as many emerald shards as I can. The peaceful wish actually makes a huge difference, and combined with the glider, I can just float through the mines, making much more progress. With that done, I'm about to take my first big plunge down, but I'm interrupted as the 28th of spring has hit, meaning we've officially completed our first year of Stinky Wicket. As such, Granny has decided to celebrate with some, snacks are ready to go. What type would you like? Give me a meat snag. I'd like to get some meat snagged in me. Put a lot of love. Aww. Now, while eating this snag might not look like much, it's actually a huge upgrade we've been given, as eating it ups the amount of food we can eat at a time from 3 to 4. Permanently. Yes, we effectively just gave ourselves a whole other energy bar, which is, of course, absolutely huge. Oh, but now it's the first of summer, so I guess our journey to get Zirconium ore is gonna have to wait again, as now my 35 coconut trees had grown and are now harvestable. And with each tree giving 4 coconuts, we can cook up tons of coconut juice, which means with my new insane speed buffs, it was time to go critter searching. Now, what I'd later learn is that the same buff doesn't stack. So even though I had drunken 2 coconut juices, I'm not going any faster than if I had just done 1. Had I known this, I probably wouldn't have grown nearly as many coconut trees, but oh well. I catch some of the needed critters for my pedia before moving on to the remaining fish I have left, and okay, I can't hold it back any longer. Let's talk about billabongs. In Dinkum, there are tons of different biomes across the map. The yellow field one is called the bushlands, the more deciduous one is called the pine forest, and the list goes on. In case it wasn't obvious, these biomes each have their own fish and bug tables that are unique to them. One of these biomes is called the billabongs, and dear lord, this has caused me so much pain. Most of the biomes in Dinkum take up very large and specific sections of the map, like the pine forest taking up most of the island's southern side, the desert taking up the middle, the tropics taking up the northern section, and so on. Billabongs are just sort of randomly thrown throughout the map, which in and of itself is not a problem. But for some reason, they're just so small. And this isn't just a case of me underestimating where a biome starts and ends. As you can see on the map, the perimeter extent of the biome. Despite this biome being one of the most spread out and small, it not only houses one of the largest portions of fish in the game, but it also has some of the most rare fish like the tarpon, the Saratoga, the bony tongue, the list goes on. But since the billabong lakes are so small, you just walk over to it, open your book, see that there's only like 4 fish inside, and none of them are the one you need, and then head on to the next one, only to have the same result. And the spawning pool is muddled up with a ton of other crap that you can already find in the rivers. Almost every single fish I have left to catch is a billabong encounter, and it's just a matter of running into each and every single one every single day until you get lucky. Which is why I'm now dropping my first official piece of merch, Death to All Billabongs! If you're a billabong supporter, you better watch out, as the Billabong Hater Nation is live, and we're growing stronger every single day! With all the billabongers assembling, it was time to finally do the task I said I was gonna do like a full season ago at this point, head into the final layer of the mines, hot, hot, hot. Oh my god, it is hot. What the hell is this? What? Oh my god. Okay. Interesting. Yes, since the hot, hot, hot is covered in lava, there are 2 main ways to get around. By throwing these water jugs into the lava to create a small stone path, or using the glider. Using the glider is obviously leagues and leagues faster, but soon you'll see that there's a pretty significant reason we need to use the water jugs. There's like nothing going on down here. The heck is this place? There's no ore or nothing. What? What's the point of coming down here? The heck is that? Can I step on this? Oh, look, there's some Zirconium ore. Oh, I gotta... What? Can I use the glider with this? How the heck am I supposed to get this back? Okay, I guess I gotta carry this all the way back. Kind of a far journey. And yes, this is the central mechanic of the hot, hot, hot. In order to farm this precious Zirconium ore, you must bring each individual piece back to the crusher, making a complex bridge system using the water jugs to guide your way home. If you can't tell from that sentence alone, it is extremely time consuming. Not to mention that if any of the enemies down here even touch your node while you're building your bridge, it'll be destroyed, yielding no ore for you. Oh no, it's breaking. Oh, and I get nothing now. Okay, good to know. Good to freaking know. Yeah, the enemies down here are relentless. Besides just their powerful attacks and bulky health bars, they have the ability to set you on fire. And if you can tell, not exactly a lot of places down here for you to cool yourself off. Oh god. And it's over. Alright, well, let's try that one again. Let's go ahead and try that one again. On my next attempt, I managed to bridge all the way back over to the crusher at spawn. And for my efforts, I'm rewarded with 3 ore. Yeah, if I'm being honest, this is easily the most frustrating part of the game, Zirconium grinding. To complete all of Franklin's inventions, I need 320 Zirconium ore. Even after spending many, many days in hot, 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 and developing the most efficient strategies I could, and having the best endgame gear, the most I ever got in a single day was 21 ore. With a good day being like 18, and most days being more like 12 or 15. 15. Keep in mind that Days in Dinkum are like 30 minutes long, and it's not even from lack of ability, just the spawn rates in Hot 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 are so insanely low for whatever reason, meaning there's like no Berkonium around. And creating a bridge back to spawn is just not fun at all. It's really boring. You just gotta find a source of water, then throw it, make sure it connects, and oh my god, this is so tedious. Strangely enough, they have these like little castles you can go inside as long as you have keys to open the doors. Now, these are actually a ton of fun. They're swarming with like an insane amount of enemies, so there's absolutely no way you can take them all out. So you have to find creative ways to either stun them, block them off, or outrun them. That way you can head inside and grab the chest loot. And the loot table for these chests are insane, with just genuinely really cool, unique loot that is extremely fun to use. I feel like it would have been a much better choice to just add some variations to these castles with different enemy types or layouts and just have Berkonium hiding in there. Because in total, getting that 320 ore required is just not fun, and it took me about 20 hours. My biggest pieces of advice to anyone looking to do this grind for themselves is as follows. Firstly, don't even think about going down into the Hot 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 until you craft yourself some crab pots. These can be unlocked by purchasing the fishing level 3 permit license and are placed down into any body of water. These have their own drop tables for various fish related items, but none of that's important. What is important is that these pots have an incredibly high chance to give you old keys. The only catch is that they need to be baited every day with meat, so make sure to do a quick kangaroo slaughter beforehand. Then go and raid as many castles in Hot 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 as you possibly can, as you'll get a ton of rare weapons and other trinkets that are gonna make traversing down here like 50 times easier. And also make sure that your first 10 Berkonium bars go to getting the upgraded jackhammer. But more important than all that, I am now Sans Undertale. The Berkonium grind will be going on in the background for the next little while, so let's talk about all the other things that we're working on. Firstly, I discovered the final town NPC, Irwin, who you can unlock by purchasing the animal handling license. I never really used animals in this entire playthrough, but you know, I like you cut, G. I also discover on rainy days when you have a million dinks in your bank account at the bank, a special visitor will come to your island. Jimmy, the businessman. Jimmy sells some pretty rare items, but that's not what's so cool about him. If you have a stack of 50 or more of an item, he will buy it for 50% more than it would go for at John's Goods. This is obviously huge when selling off crops because your stacks are always much larger than that. This speeds up the earnings process tenfold, so we salute you, Jimmy. Wait, is that supposed to be a Better Call Saul reference? I just realized. And okay, now it's time for my final rant of the video, Sheila. The reason I dislike her so much is because befriending her is infinitely harder than befriending all of the other NPCs in the game. Every other NPC in this game, when trying to befriend them, will just ask for some random item like a seashell or a really common bug, or maybe they even ask for a furniture. Not even a specific piece, just any furniture. Sheila, on the other hand, oh god, has to be a special little princess. Since she's a chef, she will only ask for cooking items to befriend her. These are so much harder to have on hand on a regular basis, which makes earning her friendship take way more time. She'll be asking for some random crap like a Dagwood dog. Now I gotta go look on the wiki. Can I craft the Dagwood dog? And a lot of the time you're not quite sure. You're like, well, maybe I have a spare onion back in my place I could use. But you're probably thinking, well, what's so bad about that? Just agree to request, look inside your chest to see if you have what you need to make her insane request, and if not, just forget about it. Well, Dinkum NPCs have a unique quirk that if you accept a quest and then don't finish it by the end of the day, not only will you not get hearts, but you'll lose a quarter one. You will lose hearts. Okay, well, I'm hearing you now, and you're like, well, why not just say no to the quest? And if you do end up having the item, then go back to Sheila and now accept the quest. You'd think, right? You'd think it would be that simple. But foolish viewer, you had not realized that we were not dealing with some regular NPC. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil in disguise, a succubus of joy and fun. Because if you say no to Sheila's quest when she asked, too dang bad. You no longer get to do a quest that day. Sorry, Buster, you only get one shot with the queen. To finish this, I actually had to write out a physical list of every single food item that I had in my chest. And every single time she requests something, reference the list. Sheila, you are pure evil and you're disgusting. Bob looks like you're in middle school and you tried to Kool-Aid dip your hair blue without your brother's permission and ended up with a full hair of sugary lavender. You look like your high school drama teacher said you look good in purple and you made it your entire personality. Who matches their shirt color to the exact color of their hair? Okay, sorry, I need to get all that out. But our shop isn't even useful for anything. Who would ever sell cooking items in this game? You need to cook them one by one. It takes so long. Okay, in less infuriating news, I've been unlocking a ton of Franklin's inventions like this sick truck, and perhaps the best invention that any game has added ever. It's a little machine that when you put an item in it, it automatically stacks it to any chest that already have one in a 5-tile radius. Oh my god, this is so insanely nice. Every game needs to have this. After a long mining trip, you just come home, slot everything into the auto sorter, and it does the rest. One of the biggest grinds I need to do is go back to the deep mine in into the Undergrove, as each of the Braconium tool upgrades requires 10 Emerald Shards and 10 Ruby Shards, meaning 40 in total. So that means a lot of time is spent down in these 2 layers in the mines. Once it hits winter again, it becomes all sea slug searching all the time. Well, actually only at night because that's when he's available, but you get the point. It takes me a few days of searching, but finally I'm able to find the slug and add him to the pedia. With that added, I've officially caught every single bug, fish, and critter that's available on the mainland. What the heck does that mean? Who knows? Erwin and Melvin have now moved into the town, and befriending them is still somehow faster than Sheila. On the 16th of spring, I managed to get the milestone for depositing 10 million dinks into the bank, which I don't quite understand because I only have 9.5 million in there, but I do eventually end up getting the full 10 million as well. Having that much money is incredibly helpful to the other goal we need to be working towards, unlocking all licenses. The bank has a side feature where you can actually convert dinks into permit points, with 500 dinks equaling a single permit point. That means each million we have in the bank converts to 2,000 permit points, which is actually a pretty good conversion rate. On the 28th of spring year 2, I'm able to collect my second snag, which now lets me eat 5 food at a time, which is the max that you can have. Any future snags would just be superfluous. I tried planting tomatoes for a while, as they last both summer and autumn, are regrowable, and sell for a pretty high price. However, they're a freaking trellis crop, meaning I can't use the tractor. Now, I thought this would be fine, as I commissioned a new invention from Franklin called the Super Sucker that sucks up any crops in the area. However, this was definitely not worth it, and I cannot advise you enough, dear viewer, to never use trellis crops in this game. Since I have all my required Braconium, I can now have Franklin craft the best vehicle in the game, the plane. The plane can fly across the entire map in just a few seconds, has controllable height and speed, and to top it all off can land in water, which is great for the days I need to sell at Jimmy's boat. It's taken over 2 years, but I finally maxed out my friendship with every single NPC, with one exception of course, as Sheila's just sitting there at 3 hearts. To commission Franklin's final invention, I need to head to Irwin's because I'm about to embark on an entire side quest, as the hot air balloon requires 10 cloth. The only way to cultivate cloth is by this fat freaking platypus and taking care of it until it starts producing wool. How do you take care of a platypus? Well, you need to feed it every day, show it love, and then use the animal brush on it when it gets stinky. Eventually, I've got enough wool and can put it all in the spinning wheel to get cloth. Hot air balloon. And with that, I've crafted every single Franklin invention in the game. My god, I know I skipped over most of that, but that was pure torture. I actually ran out of YouTube videos to watch by the end of that Braconium grind. Now it was on to placing down the last few of Dinkum's buildings. Even though I had slapped down all the game's shops, there's still a few more buildings to work on, mainly the extra houses. These are just extra houses you can build, just if you want to. You can even upgrade them to larger size. And if you get a for rent side from John, you can even live your landlord dreams and rent them out. And then you'll have a completely new visitor in your town.
New NPC. River. Hi, River. Please don't have hearts. Oh, River, you're killing me. Oh, River. River, please. Alright, guess I gotta go talk to freaking River now.
Yes, all 4 of these NPCs you can move into your town also have hearts for me to fill out in the pedia. Awesome. Just what I wanted. After 105 hours, I get to do 80 more quests. Great. On the bright side, Sheila is finally all maxed out, and now I only have to worry about the Renters 4. Now, I do make a couple changes to the Renters 4 to make them much easier to deal with. The main one being trapping them forever. Yes, it's too much of a hassle to have my little renters out and about socializing in the town, never quite sure of their location. So I just box them into this little square using my improved dirt printer from Franklin. That way I always know where they are. I also move my bed to right outside the square to shorten the trip to them. Selling off my last batch of crops gets me the 10 million I need, so I convert them over to permit points by my final license, building license level 3. Maxing out the friendships with the Renters 4 takes me about 3.5 hours, but I do eventually get it done. And with that, I now just had 2 Dinkum perfection requirements left. Finish the museum and fill out the NPC tab of the pedia. First up is the museum. Like I said earlier, we had gotten all of the mainland critters, but that's where this airport I built comes in. If we talk to the pilot inside and buy a ticket for 250,000 dinks, jeez! On Sundays only, she'll take us to Ginger Island.
Alright, let's fly, baby. Well, I like this music. Island! It looks somewhat similar to the other place that I just came from. Okay. Yes, get this. That's a bug. I didn't even see what kind of bug it was. That's a blue tiger butterfly. Okay, I need to get 2 more bugs, 4 more fish, and 3 critters. Common crow butterfly. Oh, look, it's Nemo. Guess I was the one to find Nemo. Here we go. Should be the final fish in the game, I believe. Oh, and it's Dory. That makes sense. Guess I found Dory. Wait, fish 45 out of 45. All right. We've got 1 more bug and a couple more critters. Let's go a little critter searching. My God, what the heck? Why am I just Wait, the diving helmet lets me just walk underwater? Holy crap, I'm schmoving. Trident's trumpet, first one. Oh my God, I'm moving. I got this eons ago. Sea sponge, just 1 more. Seahorse. That should be all the critters. Huge, and now I just need one more bug.
The game's final bug can only be caught at night, so I sit on the island waiting for the moon to rise. Eventually it does, and I can catch the final bug in the game and hop in the blimp on home. I run to the museum and donate the last of the museum's missing critters, and much to my surprise, there is actually a reward for this.
Boom. Now he's stocking a butter glider. Cool.
And completed museums. Yes. Yes, I have completed my pedia.
Oh my god, look, I'm flying. I don't think it's any better than my leaf glider, but it's still cool.
These are my favorite types of rewards in games like this. So many games, I feel like I finish these huge, insurmountable tasks and then just nothing. But this little butter glider makes me feel like it was all worth it. With that, the only thing we have left to do is meet the final 3 specialty NPCs. First up is Ted Selly, a known hunter who will sometimes spawn after 3 p.m. on Saturdays. Why am I looking for him in the middle of a Wednesday then? Well, because I had enacted a dangerous wish, which expands his schedule to Tuesdays and Sundays as well. Ted will spawn in a random location on the map. Basically just have to fly around until you hear a whistle sound, at which point you know he's nearby and you can circle the area on foot. Ted sells a ton of endgame weapons, which is supposed to be what you do with all your precious alpha loot. And before you say, well, wouldn't that have made your Braconium grind easier? And no, it would not have. Enemies were very rarely my problem. I was just trying to create freaking water bridges across a volcano. The next special visitor appears on the last Monday of the month, and he appears in the same way Ted Selly does, meaning you've got to just fly around until you find him. This is the town co-agent, and he's actually a collab with some game called Go-Go Town, apparently. Anyway, I meet him and buy this cute pet rock off him. He's adorable. For our final visitor, I need to change my computer's internal clock to Christmas as it's Santa. Hello there again, Nicholas. And with that, I had fully 100%ed Dinkum. So, what did I think? This is genuinely one of my favorite farming games I've ever played. I mean, I know this is a sponsored video, so you might not believe me, but the first 30 hours of this game made me feel like I was a kid again. I played for like 14 hours straight. I really couldn't stop. I think the game could use a little bit more endgame things though, like some sort of tool you can unlock to help path across the lava and hot. Also, if you're looking to be friends with the NPCs, this game will not tickle your fancy. Dialogue is very bare bones. But if you're looking for a good, fun, and casual game to sink 100 hours into, make sure to check out Dinkum in the link below, as it is out of early access right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what game you want me to 100% next, and Sheila, rot in hell. Bye!